Welcome back to the Green Room, Jets Nation. My name is Wesley Sykes, your host as usual. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Wesley_Sykes or at Jets Insider for all your NFL and Jets happenings. But this part of the show right here I would like to talk about is the morning after report, the grades, if you will, for this past Sunday's dominating victory over the Indianapolis Colts by the New York Jets. We saw them score 35 points. Much of which was due to the great success of Sean Green, rushing for a career-high 161 yards on 32 attempts and 3 touchdowns. But most of that credit has to go to the offensive line, the oft-maligned offensive line. And that's kind of where I like to start this portion of the grading. Starting with the passing offense, they do get an A in that category, despite Mark Sanchez only throwing for 82 yards. He had 11 completions on 18 attempts, good for 2 touchdowns at 61.1%. Definitely working upwards of that 48.4 completion percentage that he came into that Indianapolis game with. A huge thing to look at there. Despite the 82 yards, he did find 7 different receivers to pass the ball. That's actually great news, kind of building that continuity, that rapport with this young, inexperienced unit. Definitely good signs to see Stephen Hill catching a 5-yard touchdown pass, as well as Jason Hill, who was signed just a week earlier, catching one as another 5-yard touchdown pass as well. So definitely good things to look for on the receiving end. But moving forward to the rushing side of the ball, they get an A+. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. You had a huge day, huge running holes for this Jets offensive line. Like I said, that's been off-maligned. Particularly in the ground game. They definitely took advantage of a banged up interior front seven by the Indianapolis Colts, losing Corey Redding, no Robert Mathis. Dwight Freeney looked to be a little hobbled up there, and as well as missing their defensive tackle in the middle, whose name's mistaking me right now. But huge lanes to run through. Credit goes to the whole offensive line, up and down from the likes of Nick Mangold all the way down to the Jason Smiths and Vlad Dukas, who had some key blocks in there, particularly in the red zone. But Sean Green, 161 yards, you can't say enough about him. Coming in with 2.8 yards per carry. That's 45th out of the 47 qualifiable running backs heading into the Sunday's game. So definitely a huge breakout game as they look forward to New England, moving into New England, who always gives them their best shot. Another thing I like to see was Bilal Powell kind of moving the ball well. He did leave with a shoulder injury. I believe it was dislocated. The MRIs on him, as well as Joe McKnight, who left with an ankle injury, have not been reported. Rex said they would come out on Wednesday with an official MRI release. But Joe McKnight, again, finally getting a little bit of touches there. You can't complain with that. 3 rushes, 71 yards, and leaving with that huge 61-yard run that kind of capped off everything. And leaving with an ankle injury, which was too bad to see, but we hope that you get a guy like a playmaker like that will be available for New England. On the defensive side of the ball, the secondary gets an A, highlighted by Antonio Cromartie. Would have had 2 pick sixes, a couple questionable calls there, but all around great performance. Kind of see that play from Kyle Wilson stepping up as well, and a big part of that passing defense was the evidence and the presence of a pass rush. So kudos to the young offensive linemen. Muhammad Wilkerson, 5 tackles, 1 strip sack. Quentin Coples, a sack and a half. Aaron Maben, one sack or a half a sack in there, splitting it with Quentin Coples, and then Antonio Allen getting his first active start with the New York Jets, getting a sack there as well. So definitely a lot of impact young players making their impact felt. Against the Colts, on the rushing side of the ball, I wouldn't even say that's an applicable grade. This is a team that's still giving up over 170 yards rushing per game, and they didn't really face any tough competition. They had Vic Ballard kind of coming in there, 5th rounder out of Mississippi State, but only gaining 41 yards, maybe only having under 15 attempts. They weren't running the ball after the Jets ran up the score, so that's not an applicable grade. Not a bad grade, but just not applicable. We'll see how they do against the rushing attack, the two-headed monsters that are in New England this Sunday. And then special teams again gets an A. I love everything that I see from this team. Tim Tebow with that huge fourth down conversion on a pass to Nick Bellore. Definitely a huge momentum swing. You continue to see that with the special teams as a huge momentum swing for the offense and just for the team in general. The coaching, I give it an A. I love everything. I think that this team was a few steps away, really close to pulling off a couple of big plays, and you kind of see that happen this week. Just the ball kind of falls in their direction. Definitely beating up on a team that they should win, a must-win game, putting them in a tie for first place in the AFC East with the rest of the teams in there, all at 3-3. So love the bounce back by Tony Sperano and Rex Ryan there. But yeah, that's it. That's what I got for the grades, and we'll see moving down the road how the Jets fare against, like I said, a New England team that always gives them their best shot. It should be one of the games of the year, as it always is. And Rex is always already talking about giving them their best shot. So we'll definitely have more information from the Flopping Out guys, myself included. So for more from the Green Room, stay tuned to Flopping Out and enjoy the rest of your Monday afternoon.